Black to move. The white rook on e7 is defended only by the queen on e2. If black can force the white king onto the e-file, the king itself will block its own queen, and the rook falls. Pure interference. Queen to c1 with check. The white queen is forced to block on e1. Then the black queen swings to f4 with check, and now the white king must move to e2, blocking its own queen from defending the rook on e7. Interference. The white queen on e2 is the only defender of the rook on e7 through the e-file. Two queen checks force the white king to step onto e2, where it physically blocks its own queen. The rook is suddenly unprotected. CuC1 with check. The queen slides down the c1 h6 diagonal and checks the king on f1 along the first rank. The king cannot run, so white must block, and the only blocker is the queen. Key1. The queen drops to e1 to block the check. Critical detail. The queen has moved off e2 and now defends the rook on e7 only by sitting on the e-file, and that defense can be interrupted. Qf4 with check. The queen swings to f4 and attacks the king along the f-file. The king must move, and the only square that doesn't walk into a worse position is e2. Key 2, and there it is. The king steps onto e2, blocking its own queen on e1 from seeing the rook on e7. Interference complete. The rook is now hanging. Kxc7. The black king strolls over and takes the rook. The white queen on e1 cannot help, its own king is in the way. Net. Black wins a full rook on top of the previous attack. When a piece is defended only by a long-range piece on a single file, rank, or diagonal, look for ways to put a blocker on the defending line. Sometimes the cleanest blocker is the opponent's own king, chased there by your checks.